What is up? What is up? What is up? The association. This is your boy. Is the
Nothing is in here,
Furious,
Neff. There's no
and
bot in here.
no, there's no bot because I'm live on YouTube. Okay, so relax. Um,
Oh.
we're live. We're gonna do a podcast, but this time on YouTube, as I said. We're gonna break down the teams. We're also gonna take a look at the divisions. What we think our predictions are going to be for the division, and kind of wrap up season 1 and break down season 2. So going into season 1, we had our own predictions. I think Mark hit the nail on the head. Did you have me winning too? Because I know you had me at the Super Bowl.
No, yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I did have the Patriots winning. I went back and watched it again a couple of days ago, and I thought I had picked the Packers. I wanted to double check, but no, I did pick you in the end.
Yeah. So, and to wrap up season 1, we do go into the Super Bowl, the Patriots and the Packers, and we were able to come out with a big victory. Early on, we were a second half team. I believe he was up 17-7 going into half, and we were able to limit him to 7 points last. I would say 7 points in the whole second half, and that 7 points came off of special teams. So that kind of speaks to how well our defense was playing, and we were able to come out with the victory. And we started off we kicked off the association with a Super Bowl win in our own league. Ain't that a bitch? Jake, yeah, exactly. There's certain users
Cheater.
that could never. But we cheat, and we cheat well.
It's the Patriots. No one's surprised.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we might have another special guest jump on, but any comments on season 1? How did you feel about season 1, how it went, and how your team went, and everything with the league?
Well, I won the first league MVP, so the rest of you can suck my dick. So I had
Jesus. Jesus, yeah, Lamar did. Any other comments about your season?
A little disappointing how it ended. We came out playing like a word I can't say on stream against Mark, who played a good game. To be fair to him, we came back and then we just blew it all over again. So we want to make it farther in the playoffs. That's the goal this season.
Yeah, you made it far in the play. Well, you made it to the playoffs. You want to make it further in the playoffs, but making it to the playoffs in this league is a solid, feather in your cap. How about you, Mark? How do you feel?
Well, like Miles said, he won the first MVP, and just like Lamar's first MVP, his season ended to the Titans in Baltimore in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Going to the playoffs, a lot of people texted me, and they were like, or talked to me afterwards, and they were like, we didn't expect the Titans to really do anything. They're like, we know you're a good user, but they thought it might have been a little too much to overcome. So it was really positive, like how Cam Ward was. It's been a while since I had like a rookie quarterback to play with in Madden. And for him to play the way he did, I was very surprised and obviously very happy. I think we went 12-5 or 13-4, which was not on my record. I think I predicted myself to go 7-10. I think in the preseason last year.
Yeah, you had a good season and overachieved with that Titans team. Thoroughly overachieved with that Titans team. So, shout out to you and doing what you had to do. But moving on to season 2, I assume that the outlook or the hype is a little bit better than it was in season 1.
Yes, D. Lloyd has told me he has renewed his season tickets for the Tennessee Titans, and he will be flying in every Sunday for the games at home.
That's
Yes,
perfect.
sir.
That's perfect. Now that's a positive note right there. You get your boy D. Lloyd in the building to watch the games and root you on. You bringing him in as an OC?
He will have a role in the offense, and he also will have a role in the front office.
Jesus, he's got a bunch of roles that he has to worry about. But diving into season 2, everybody's optimistic. The fresh season is here. Everybody had a draft, participate in the draft besides Miles. I know you were out, Miles. Any comments on the draft? How did you feel your team drafted even though you weren't there?
Uh, we filled positions of need. We got a couple of guards. Other than that, they're gonna be the starters. My left and right guard rookies. But other than that, they did good. We filled some depth positions that I didn't address in free agency, so can't complain. Happy with how the CPU did for me.
Now, how about you, Mark? How do you feel about your draft?
I felt like our draft was good. We were in a weird thing where we kind of didn't need a starter really anywhere. Maybe middle linebacker, but where our pick was, we were never going to get the middle linebackers. We weren't going to get the Anthony Hill or anything like that. Instead, we traded our first round pick for Owen Popo, a linebacker that we could develop who fits our scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, we kind of just drafted for depth, and hopefully maybe we found a stud. And I believe we did find a stud with the first pick in the 5th round with Zavanian Harris. He's a 6'7" defensive tackle from Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And already off the bat, he has 96 strength and I believe 83 block shed.
Yeah, he's a big boy, 6'7", 330, I believe. Just a massive body. Kind of the prototypical nose tackle you would want, just dominant in the middle. We also got Drama that just jumped in. Drama, say what's up to the people.
Hey, what a good Digital Gridiron Association. Hey, man, Drama. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
We're good. We're good. We're just talking about, how season 1 went for each of us, and then also we talked about our draft class a little bit. So we'll jump to you. How do you feel your first season went? How did your draft class go, and what do you think? Where do you think it goes from here?
Well, season 1 was a little frustrating. You know what I'm saying? It took some getting used to. Noodle Arm, Brock Purdy. We were able to get adjusted. You know what I'm saying, and really learn the limitations that we have on offense because of the throw power of Brock Purdy. So we reached, we went 7-10. I had a couple sim games that I lost. But I felt like I had to readjust my offense, and so I did some searching throughout the offseason. I found the playbook that I'm comfortable with. The first big move that we made in the offseason was we acquired Justin Fields, and he's not going to be the starting quarterback, but he will be incorporated into the offense a bit. So we're excited to see what we're able to do with him. We got him on the retainer, so he's at the end of the season we got to re-sign him or he's going to be gone. So we'll see how effective he is. Christian McCaffrey got hurt in week 17, tore his Achilles, and so I believe he's still out for the entire season. He's out 17 to 23 weeks, so we're not going to have Christian back this year. We're fairly confident in Isaac Guerrero and Jordan James, but for security purposes, we went and drafted John Coleman out of Washington. He's a big power back, 5'11", 220. So kind of solid with our backfield. The major problem that we had going into the offseason was the retirement of Trent Williams and Kyle Houston. So in free agency, we adjusted the offensive line. I think I signed 4 offensive linemen in the offseason. We brought in Brady Christensen, left tackle out of BYU. John Simpson, who was a center out of Clemson. We moved him to guard. We brought in Trent Brown, used to play for the Patriots and the Texans, and then we also brought in Kendrick Green, who was a guard that used to play for Buffalo. So showed up the offensive line there. We had some, empty spaces on defense. We needed help in the secondary, so we went and got Jair Alexander, brought him in. At the linebacker position, we went and got a couple backups, brought in Chad Surratt, Kenneth Murray Jr., and then in the draft, we only had 4 picks. And so the first pick, we went ahead and grabbed Kenyon Sadiq, who's a tight end out of Oregon. Now, I had a couple of linebackers that I wanted to take. I even was going to take Jeremiah Love if he was there at pick 13. But by the time 13 came around, all those guys that we had listed were gone. And so it was between Kenyon Sadiq and some offensive linemen. But I felt like the moves we made during free agency, I could get a lineman later on in the draft, and so we went ahead and reached and grabbed Kenyon Sadiq, and he's was worth the pick. I mean, 6'3", 245, 88 speed, 88 agility, 90 acceleration. You know, he's got 85 catch, 82 catch in traffic, and again, the type of offense that we want to run. You know, he's going to fit in well with you know, nice short yardage, secure handle catcher. He's a good blocker. We
Mm-hmm.
got George Kittle still. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, we short up the offensive line defensively. You know, maybe a little weak in the interior, but we're fairly confident in Alfred Collins and Keon White.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Williams is coming along great. You know, we've got Nick Bosa still. And then, you know, in the middle of that defense, we got Fred Warner, who's the best in the league doing it. So fairly confident we'll be able to defend the run well and, you know, stop the pass. And because of the, you know, who we have in the cornerback position, we'll maybe be able to do some man coverage, two safeties over the top, and just, you know, force teams to find quick reads and hope that our, you know, defensive ends can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, and we'll go on a deeper dive into your team. I like the Sadiq Pitt. He's kind of like a move tight end. You know, you think Aaron Hernandez, think Jonnu Smith, you think Vernon Davis. You know, he's not, you know, a bully tight end always on the line. He's somebody you could flex out wide with that athleticism. So, you know, that's a great pick. You know, a very good tight end to grab. But we're going to talk about each division. We're going to start with the AFC. Let's go with the AFC East. And the first team to talk about is the Buffalo Bills. So the Buffalo Bills still have Josh Allen. Josh Allen's still looking good, 98 overall. He did downgrade to a superstar for throwing too many picks. You got James Cook, who's a 93 overall. He brought in Mark Fletcher. But the biggest thing with this team was going and grabbing some wide receivers. So he has Khalil Shakir, or Shakir. We also have Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer, but he went and drafted Chris Bell, who's a 93 speed 6'2 wide receiver, and then one of the faster wide receivers at 6'5 190, Sincere Brown, who's a massive project. He's already got him up to a 67 overall, so he's already working on him, but he's got 95 speed and the height. So a nice little grab there. He knew the wide receiver room was a big hole, and right now it still is a big hole. You still have to, you know, develop some of these young guys that you got. The tight end room is still the same. You got Kincaid and you got Knotts. You also brought in RJ Maryland, who could step in and be another tight end. I know he's trying to move, I believe, Dawson Knox. Offensive line, pretty solid. You got a left tackle in Spencer Brown, who's 85 overall. The rest of it is actually pretty weak. I said pretty solid, but they're actually pretty weak. He's got a 6'2", 293 Shadir Hurst playing right tackle. I don't know if that's the route to go. If we were doing logically in the NFL, you never have anybody under 6'4" on that tackle spot because you need the length out there. But when it comes to the defense, you got Greg Rousseau, you got Landon Jackson, two edge rushers. Landon Jackson's still developing, 23 years old. You got Ed Oliver in the middle, which he might be moving. He doesn't really have anybody behind him. I mean, Deion Walker's a nice little piece, but needs a lot of development, and he really doesn't have the strength to be in the middle. So I'm surprised he's going to move Ed Oliver, but we'll see what happens there. BJ Ojolari at the Sam. You got Terrell Bernard at the Mike. Aiden Fisher, a rookie he drafted, 84 speed linebacker, 6'1", 231. He also brought in Trey Moore, who's 6'3", 249, playing linebacker as well, 83 speed, 92 excel. I think he was a pass rusher, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he got good finesse moves, so I'm surprised he kicked him out to Will. Probably wanted that acceleration as a user. Quarterback room, you got Maxwell Hairston, 96 speed, obviously a number one there. Teron Johnson, who is 89 speed. Avion, I would say Avion Terrell. Avion Terrell, 92 speed, 81 overall corner. Was one of his top picks, I believe, in the first round. So added another corner that's really good. He has good man coverage with 83. So there's some development specifically at the cornerback position, at the wide receiver position, and the defensive line. Now, this team has more holes than I expected. I expected it to be a little more balanced, but it's top heavy right now. You got your running back, you got your quarterback, you got one edge and a solid Mike. But outside of that, you got a lot of young and developing pieces with this Bills team. What are some of the comments that you have for it, Miles?
For the Bills team,
Yes.
So Meek, I believe he joined us actually. It was mid-year,
Hmm.
mid-season last year. So he was a little late.
Oh, Miles, bro, I
Oh,
missed you,
hey,
bro.
We're
wait,
doing a
wait.
podcast, dickhead.
Hey, don't be rude.
There's no
Anyway,
bot.
No.
Sorry.
We're doing it live on YouTube.
Fuck YouTube. I missed all y'all.
You wanna you want to jump in and give your comments?
Nope. I just didn't know I didn't know there was a podcast. Hello, world. Just came to tell Miles I missed him.
I
And
missed
it's
you too, buddy.
documented. And so anytime he's meeting me, it's documented on YouTube.com/is nefarious. Where I love Miles.
We have it on
All
tape. We
right.
have it on tape. Good, Miles.
I love
Good.
you
Talk
too.
about the Bills.
I could talk about HD for the next 3 hours, but anyways, I don't blame him. Like like that cap room is atrocious. I
Mhm.
know, like even though they lost Von Miller, not lost, he left. All that stuff. Josh Allen's contract. You got, I think Joey Bosa's making a pretty penny.
Joey
In
Bosa
general,
is on the Titans.
oh, he left. See, my bad. In general, that was always gonna be one of those, not a rebuild, but it's like make it work with what you got and
Mhm.
build to the drafts. Because similar to the Ravens this season for me, it's gonna be tight on cap. You gotta. So I don't really hate how Meek did it. I'm just hoping for a better season from him because he does have one of the best quarterbacks in the game, even as a superstar.
Mhm.
So, but we'll see how he adjusts to a full season now in the league.
Yeah, we'll see how he adjusts. He's got some work to do with this team, like you said. And he started playing really well towards the end, and I'm excited to see how he does. What's your comments on that, Mark?
I think, everyone talks about, Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but when it comes to like team building, the Bills have not been one of the better teams. As you can see, is there's a lot of scrutiny actually in real life now with their
Mhm.
GM and owner. So I think he kind of, he gets Josh Allen. He didn't really inherit good, I would say, Madden weapons.
Mhm.
And I feel like now that he's got these two rookie receivers, he'll be able to build them. Like you said, he's already got Senior Brown up to 67. That was going to be a project, but I assume he will be starting, or at least be on the cusp of it. But I think he'll do fine. Like you said later in the second half, he started playing really well. If he can keep that momentum going, I don't see why he can't compete for the division this year.
Go ahead, Drama. Give
Sure.
me your comments after everything you learned about this Bills
Yeah,
team.
I'll just say, man, if the Bills plays within the strengths of his team, they can have a decent season. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But a lot of times, guys have their own play style, and they try to cater the team to that play style as opposed to catering their style to the way the team is built. And
Mhm.
so, with Josh Allen throwing all those interceptions in season one, the receiving prospects haven't improved that much season two. Of course, he went and drafted a 95 speed, 6'5" guy. So he's still looking to be able to throw the ball deep and spread the field, downfield, but that's not really the strength of his team. So if he's stubborn and continues to play the way he played last year, we'll have a repeat of that. But if he hunkers down and realizes the limitations that he has on offense and, plays within the strengths that he has, then maybe we'll see some improvement. But I don't see that happening for the Bills this season.
Yeah, and
Mm.
you know, he's got a lot to deal with. He's got the Super Bowl champion division. You know what I mean? But we're gonna be advancing here in a minute. But let's jump into. I'm gonna do the Jets, the Patriots, and
Load up, Mark.
Dolphins all at once, just so we could break it down. So the Dolphins, you got a quarterback and Miller Moss, who he drafted. Looks like Quinn Ewers is going to be the starter for the foreseeable future. He's at 85 overall. Let's really look at Quinn Ewers. He's 85 overall. The abilities, he's got red zone dead eye, he's got quick draw, and he's got safety valve. So he got him up to a superstar, and with those weapons, 86 throw power might be fine to deal with. He is 23 years old, already 85. You got one of the best backs in the league in A-Chain with 96 speed. He's still got Jalen Wright as well, who's got 93 speed behind him. And then you got your power back in Ollie Gordon. So he's got a very good balanced backfield. And then Tyreek Hill took a step back. He's still 95 speed, but he's still got X Factor. Rack him up. What are his other abilities? He has Rack him up, short out elite, grab and go, and jukebox. And, you know, he did take a step back, but the abilities are still there. You still got Jalen Waddle. You still got two of the faster wide receivers in the league. So, you know, he's got a lot of good weapons. Offensively. And in the tight end room, he brought in David Njoku in free agency and drafted Michael Trigg, who's you know, a solid you know, rookie out of Baylor. He also got Sam Roush, who was a UDFA, so he's got a few pieces there. Offensive line is looking okay. You know, everybody's hovering around 80, just below 80. So it's not a terrible offensive line, but it's not the best. You're going to have to get that ball out quick for the most part. Chop Robinson has not developed the way he wants. I mean, he's a 79 overall, that 88 speed, 91 excel. You should be doing more damage on the edge. Bradley Chubb's not developed too much, so the defensive line is generally weak. He's got Kenneth Grant, who's developing inside, but, you know, he is missing, you know, pieces on this defensive line. Sam linebacker, you got Justin Strad. You got Jordan Brooks at the middle linebacker, or the Mike. And you get Tyrell Dotson at the will. Taking a look at the corners, he did draft the #1 corner in the whole draft in Mansour Delaney. 81 overall. He's not fast. 88 speed, 94 excel, 93 agility, and change of direction. But he's already at base with 80. What is it? 83 man coverage? No, 84 man coverage. So very high man coverage, just not fast. That's the only downside with him. You got Kader Coho behind him with 93 speed, so you got somebody to keep up with the faster wide receivers. Not super fast, but, you know, fast enough to cause some havoc back there. You got a free safety in Minkah Fitzpatrick. You also got Jordan Fuller at the strong safety. So you got some good pieces here when it comes to the defense. You know, good young pieces in Delaney, and then you got Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's an older piece but a great piece. But that front seven is lacking a lot, and that offense is still going to be good no matter which way you cut it. You got a quarterback, you got the running back, you got the two wide receivers, and you got a tight end now. Maybe that offensive line needs some help, but, you know, it's a solid team. So that's your Miami Dolphins. Moving on to the New York Jets. Jalen Milroe was traded for to bring in to replace Justin Fields. Jalen Milroe is a 79 overall, 93 speed, 92 throw power. Really good piece there. You got Breece Hall, who's a great running back. You got Rashad White behind him, and Braylon Allen still there. You know, you got your big back in Braylon Allen. I might even trade for Braylon Allen. But take a look at the wide receivers. You got Garrett Wilson still. You have Arian Smith. He didn't really do much in the wide receiver room. He's kind of rocking with what he's got. Already a young team as is. You got Mason Taylor at tight end, who's pretty solid. 83 speed, 86 excel, 78 overall. Definitely not the best, but, you know, not bad at all. Offensive line, you got Fashanu at the left tackle. Hasn't developed much. Tippmann hasn't developed much. You got Jonah Jackson in the middle. Elijah Vera Tucker, who's a solid 85 overall. And then Membo, who's the right tackle at 22 years old, already at 87. So he's developing pretty well. Defensive line, Will McDonald on one side, Jermaine Johnson on the other. Neither have really developed. He didn't find an answer at the edge position. Defensive tackle wise, he's got Harrison Smith and a rookie in Christian Miller. So definitely needs some, you know, pieces there. The defensive line's weak. The offensive line is solid on the right side, but weak elsewhere. The wide receiver room isn't great besides Garrett Wilson. The running back room's solid, and then he's got a athletic quarterback. Looking at the linebacker, you got Nakobe Dean at the Sam, solid piece. You got Sherwood in the middle with Nicholas Murrow. You also got Ivan Pace that was brought in free agency at the will. And then the cornerback room, you got Razul Douglas, Nate Hobbs, and Brownlee Jr. The cornerback room needs some help. You're probably one of the worst in the division. You got, I'm not pronouncing his first name. Azariah. How do you pronounce this name, Drama?
Azariah.
Azariah.
Yep.
Azariah. Azariah is an 82 overall, 22-year-old. You got Jimmy Ward at 79 overall. You got Bray Hubbard, who he drafted, 87 speed, 91 excel, 6'2", 213. Just a big body, good zone coverage. Definitely could handle tight ends and make plays. The hit power is not there for his his size, but he can make plays and play well in coverage. So that's the Jets team. Some holes. Definitely one of the worst teams in the division. But he did his thing in season 1. He pulled some wins together, and he didn't end up as a top 5 pick. Moving on to the Patriots. You got Drake May, obviously the future, 89 overall, 89 speed. You got Travion Henderson, who's at 85. You got Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, and Ramondre Stevenson. A running back room by committee. Doesn't really have the bell cow back. You got McCray, who we brought in to be a fullback and really benefit our power game. Wide receiver room, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Kayshon Boutte, who's developed pretty nicely. Deion Burks, who we drafted out of Oklahoma, who's developed nicely at a 79 overall already. You got Kyle Williams behind him, Demario Douglas. So you got some young pieces and some, role players. You got Hunter Henry and Oscar Delp. Oscar Delp actually got superstar. So he's going to be a young guy to build to replace Hunter Henry. He's at a 70 overall. So he's going to take a lot of time to develop. You got Will Campbell at the left tackle. You got Jared Wilson at the left guard. You got Mike Adwenu at the center. You got Wyatt Teller at the right guard, and then you got Francis Magoya, I believe. Alga. He's at 81 overall, rookie that we drafted. He started at a 78. We developed him nicely. I mean, our offensive line is one of our strengths. Defensively, don't really have a great edge rusher. We got Braden Swinson. We got Hassan Reddick. We also got Harold Landry and Fernie Jennings, and Patrick Payton's, who we drafted. We got a few pieces here that we need to develop, like Braden Swinson and Patrick Payton, but it's a lot of older players that we got to work on. Milton Williams in the middle with Christian Barmore, Kenny Clark, and Joshua Farmer. We got a good interior, not fantastic, but really solid pieces from start to finish. So we're happy about that. Christian Ellis at the Sam, kind of a filler piece. You got Robert Spillane and Marte Mapu in the middle with Wade Woodaz, who's a star dev middle linebacker. Cole Holcomb. I mean, our front seven is solid. We want it to be a lot better, but it is pretty solid. And this is where our team is really good. Cornerbacks, you got Christian Gonzalez on one side, you got Marcus Jones in the slot, you got Carlton Davis on the other side. We got a really good cornerback room, especially a top 3. Probably need a little bit better depth behind him, but we do get a good top 3. Jalen Hawkins at the safety position, Craig Woodson at the free safety. So a really solid team. Weakness, it's like a master of none team. You got a lot of balance throughout, besides that cornerback position. You got a lot of balance throughout, but you don't got a true number 1 for the most part. And we got a really solid offensive line. After going through all these teams, what's kind of your opinion on each one of these teams, Miles?
I had to start writing things down because you went through the full 53-man roster. So, but it's a very good division. It can be a great division though. If A-Rod, we've seen variations of A-Rod this year specifically, and other leagues. Fuck them, you know what I mean? But if A-Rod can show up like he has in the past, this is gonna be a really interesting division, especially because Afro has taken that leap himself. And he won the division last year, right? You were the wild card team?
Yep, I was the wild card team. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm curious how Meekin and what's his face? A-Rod fare out here. I'm expecting the same production from Afro. You as well, although I wouldn't be shocked if you just lose and don't make the playoffs. But yeah, it should be a very tight division.
How about you, Marcus?
I'm glad A-Rod, he got rid of Fields. He's got that scrambling quarterback now that he wanted at Milrow. He did his annual beast trade. But I still
his annual beast trade is fucking hilarious.
I do like what A-Rod did. I don't like the receiving core. I know he went strictly there. He was just like, if you're in man coverage, you're screwed, which means teams are going to just play zone against him. And I do know he struggles against zone. But I still just think, I did say the Bills could compete for the division. I don't think the top 2 team. I still think this is yours and and Afro's division.
John, but what's your comment on it?
Yeah, well, the Dolphins Dolphins won the division last season, and so they're still the reigning AFC East champions. I know the Patriots went and won a Super Bowl. And the way these rosters are constructed, it's almost as though the Patriots are built to defeat the Dolphins, and so maybe we see the Patriots riding the high off coming to the Super Bowl, winning the division this season. I don't know if the Jets and the Bills have the players at the skill positions necessary to compete with those other two teams. So I see the Jets and the Bills remaining in the same place that they were in the
Hmm.
bottom of the AFC. So yeah, that's how I see it shaping out. I got the Patriots, I got the Dolphins, Jets, and then the Bills in the AFC East to see.
All right. So yeah. So
If I can
my
make a suggestion,
yeah.
if we go through every division the way we just went through this one, we're gonna be here for like 8 hours, bro. We
All
could
right.
just go through who won the division, you know what I'm saying, who placed second, and
Yeah.
then look at some of the big moves that were made in the off season. We could talk about a couple rookies or trades that may have happened, but if we go through every team's roster like we just did, we're gonna be here for 8 hours.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. I'm trying to give everybody their due diligence, but yes, like you said, we're gonna be
For
here for a
sure.
while. So moving on to the AFC North real quick. You got the Browns, you got the Ravens, you got the Steelers, and then you got the Bengals. Now the Browns made a few moves in free agency, still have a solid team. Got a lot of young pieces that they developed. Miles Garrett's still there, Denzel Ward. You got John Kins, who's developed nice. Mason Graham's developed nice as well. Swishinger is also really good. Fana Jr.'s developed nice. He let Njoku go. He didn't have a great first season. He's got Shadur, who's developed nicely, that he'll be focusing on. When it comes to the Bengals, the Bengals, on the other hand, have a new user. We bring in Jocko. He's got a very good team. You got Joe Burrow. You got Jamar Chase. You got Trey Hendrickson. You got T. Higgins. So you got a really good offense and weapons with a quarterback and good weapons. You got Chase Browns, who's a good running back. But that defense needs a lot of help. Taking a look at the Ravens, we got the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's still there. He won the MVP. You got Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Matt Abike. He did let Mark Andrews go, but other than that, it's pretty much the same team. Derrick Henry's taken a step back in his development because of his age. And then with the Steelers, you got Josh, who has TJ Watt. He still has Ramsey, who are both really good players still right now. DK Metcalf will be suspended for 4 weeks. He didn't have a great first season. This division went to the Ravens. What's some of your comments on this division, Mark, and some of the changes that they made?
So yeah, a lot of changes in the division. I still think this is still Miles' divisions to lose. I just personally feel like when you have Lamar Jackson, you can compete against anyone, even if you just have bums out there, which he kept a lot of the main core together, and he actually improved a lot of the guys. And I would even make the argument that he even improved the team, which I didn't think would be possible.
Mm-hmm.
But with those discounts he got, he was able to go out there, sign guys back, and even improve them. I do know Josh now getting the full season. He won't have DK Metcalf, but I think Josh will adapt and still be fine. But if I actually had to pick the division winner now, I don't really know too much about the Bengals' play style. Obviously, I'm very familiar with HD, but I actually would pick Josh to win this division this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know about the Bengals and Jocko, but it would be interesting to see if Josh, has a better season. How about you, Drama?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the rosters, if the Ravens doesn't win the division, then something's seriously wrong with that guy. Like I understand the moves that the Steelers made; they significantly improved their roster. But with the way that these teams are constructed, you know, Baltimore's clearly the best team. I would say roster wise, the Browns are the worst team.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers defense is pretty much still intact. They went and made a trade and brought Bo Nix in to be quarterback. And they've got the first 4 games. I know they're missing Metcalf, so that may be troublesome for them. But the Bengals maybe could do something as well. Their team is still fairly intact. I know he was shopping T. Higgins before the draft. I tried to acquire him and he wouldn't budge on his asking price. But that team's pretty solid. But yeah, no, it's got to be the Ravens. I would say the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and then the Browns to wrap this division. Who's the Ravens again?
Ravens is Miles.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a good team builder, and his play style fits well with the way that roster's constructed. So yeah, no, I got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and then the Browns for the AFC North.
All right, moving on to the AFC South. Mark, your division, a division that was really good. Sent three users to the playoffs? Almost sent four. So, was really good in the first season. You got the Colts, who's got the same team. You still got Sauce Gardner, you got Buckner, you got Quentin Nelson. He's added a few pieces. He drafts well. I'm trying to see. He added Demon Claiborne. The funny thing is, he traded Jonathan Taylor. I forgot to mention that. He added Demon Claiborne, Damon Claiborne with 94 speed, 94 acceleration. He added Xavier Worthy by trading away Jonathan Taylor. So he's got a 99 speed wide receiver out there. He's got Gold with 94. He's got Alec Pierce. So he's got a really athletic room, kind of like the Dolphins. He's got Warren at the tight end position. He's a superstar. He could develop those. The offensive line is really good, from left guard to right tackle. You maybe got one bad member in that. The defensive line really solid as well. Latu and JT still back there, so a really good team overall. And he develops well. He didn't win the division, but he finished, I think, second, or no, he finished third in the division. I think he had the number 6 wild card spot. Moving on, you got the who's next to talk about? You got the Texans. Texans have Will Anderson still there. You got Hunter. So you got two of the best edge rushers. He didn't do too much. He added a few pieces in free agency, but nothing that's really going to change a lot. It's mostly the same guys. CJ Stroud has not developed as much as he would like. He is still a superstar, so that's good. You got Nico Collins, who's really good, the number one, and Joe Mixon's regressed a little bit. With the Jaguars, they ended up winning the division, by the way, the Texans. With the Jaguars, he has nobody over 90 right now. He's got Hines Allen, he's got Devin Lloyd, both their best players. He's got ETN, but everything else is really in need of development for the most part. Hands down the worst team in the division, and he's the only one that did not make the playoffs out of this whole division. What's your comments on this division, Mark?
I don't want to say too much. I think there's still gonna be a dogfight this year. I wouldn't be surprised if something similar to last year happens again. Obviously, we wanted to win the division this time around. I believe now we can do it. We still may not have like the best overall team, but I feel like we have guys that are gonna fit the scheme and the mold that we want to play, kind of the type of football we want to play in Tennessee. And Cam Ward he's Cam Ward. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, Cam Ward is Cam Ward. How do you feel about this division drama?
Well, looking at the rosters, it would seem that Indianapolis has the best roster. You buried the lead when I mentioned at first that Jonathan Taylor got traded to the Chiefs for Xavier Worthy. So he got 96 throw power. Anthony Richardson with Xavier Worthy running around out there with two big receivers, and I believe Doolin and Pierce out there catching. And then he's got the defensive line anchored by those two Samoans with those two big country boys in the middle. So Fallen, he always builds a good team, but he's one of those guys. Again, he doesn't change his play style to fit the roster. He builds a roster to fit his play style, and so we know what he's going to do. I was looking at, before I knew that the Titans were Mark's team, I was like, man, this Titans guy reminds me of myself. He doesn't really do much trades that big in free agency, just kind of tries to build the roster that he has. And so that Tennessee Titans team coming back year 2 just improved and added a couple pieces through the draft. I think they're in a good position to maybe take the division. That Jags roster is horrendous. It's almost like he didn't even do anything. We're in a league now where content really isn't the nature of building your team. You would think that a guy might be more invested in actually trying to work to build his roster, but it doesn't look like the Jags pretty much did anything over the off season, and so we'll see if he actually competes this year. And then you get the Texans, whose defense is really somewhat a shell of itself, and I don't know how good he's going to be able to compete. But we'll go Titans winning the division, then Colts in second, Texans in third, and Jags rounding off the bottom.
Yeah, so it's a fun division. Like I said, they almost sent 4 last year, so that kind of speaks to how good the division is. Moving on, the next one to talk about is the AFC West. Real quick, jumping into it, you got the Raiders, but we'll skip them for now. The first team I want to talk about is the Broncos, the division winner. They brought in a quarterback. They brought in Fernando Mendoza. They traded Bo Nix. They went with Fernando Mendoza, 92 throw power. He's also got 81 speed. He's got RJ Harvey in the backfield. He's got a solid team. He doesn't really have a true number one. He's got Troy Franklin that he has to develop. He's brought in Devontae Ross as well to try to help with that development. Tucker Kraft, a really good, speedy tight end. But overall, a really good team, especially that defensive side. He has a really strong defense with a number one corner, a good pass rush, and sometimes that's all you need. So that's the Broncos. Moving on, you also got the Chargers in division with a new user, Scamming, who hasn't played a game yet. But you got Slater, a top tier left tackle. You got Derwin James and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's still a X factor, really good player to have there. He's got a really good team. Some need development, and I think he'll be able to develop that well. And we'll see how he fares compared to the last user. You got Jonathan Taylor leading the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes now. You got McDuffie. That wide receiver room is a little bit slower, but he added Barry Brown with 95 speed, 98 XL. He added Evan Stewart with 93 speed, 95 XL. He's got Hollywood Brown. So he tried his best to bring back that 90 speed, but there's only so much you could do to replicate that. He's got a tight end room that features Eli Stowers with 88 speed. So he's got a few fast tight ends. You know how he's going to try to build it. He's going to go with the MUT build. The defense is pretty solid. You get your 2 edge rushers that are okay. You got a top corner in McDuffie. You got some good pieces. Chris Jones hasn't plummeted off the earth. So you got a lot of good pieces with that Chiefs team. Moving on to the last but not least, you got the Raiders and Cammy, who's going to want to take a step forward. Developed well. He's got Max Crosby, who's still there. Brock Bowers is a 90 plus overall tight end. Colton Miller. You got Ashton Genty, who's developed real nicely. You got Dante Thornton Jr., who became a X factor, and he drafted Anthony Hill Jr., 92 speed linebacker out of Texas. So he's got that guy to really lead his defense. And cause havoc on that side of the ball, on top of some good wide receivers that he drafted. Malachi Fields isn't really fast, but he got superstar Dev at 6'4", 222. He's got 2 really good young wide receivers that he could build around. So he's got an offense. The tight end's nasty. You got 2 young wide receivers, a good running back, and he just brought in Kyler Murray, and he also drafted Taylon Green to try to, be the starting quarterback moving forward. So what are some of the comments of, this division, Mark?
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear Cammy's been taking a step forward. And like I said, I saw Cammy. He, I believe in free agency, he signed after I believe he signed a couple other guys. I believe he ended up with like 13 free agents, but he didn't go crazy spending money. He just got guys to fill out his roster. And Anthony Hill, I really wanted him, as I said earlier, but I feel like he fits the Raiders mold. When I think he's going to bring the hard hitting back to that defense, and will be a good leader for that team in general. And when it comes to the quarterback, I'm really I didn't understand Cammy's move to get Kyler Murray because he's not really into the running quarterbacks. But then he drafted Taylon Green, so I wonder maybe if Kyler Murray doesn't do too good, maybe Taylon Green's the move, and at that point he can develop him because he's starting out at 73 overall, which is great for him. But I still think this is the Broncos division at the end of the day. I still don't understand getting rid of Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs. But I feel like Cruz, you got rid of Bo Nix, and I was kind of suspicious of that too. I think Mendoza was a good pickup for him, and I think it's still Cruz to win this division.
All right, Drama, how do you feel?
Yeah. So Cruz is the Broncos, right?
Cruz is the Broncos. Yep.
Cruz is the Broncos. Okay, yeah. So I think roster wise, I think the Broncos has the best roster of all the teams in this division. I do like the moves that the Chiefs made. It fits their play style. They're really pass heavy out of the backfield type of team, and so to have Jonathan Taylor to add alongside of who's the other guy that they have there at the running back position? Brashard Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to cause problems for a lot of teams. They gave up Xavier Worthy, but he still has Rasheed Rice and Marquise Brown. So yeah, it's going to be difficult keeping up with the scoring that these teams have. I don't know who's going to come out on top defensively, but just knowing the users and knowing the rosters, I would say it's Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers to round up the AFC West.
All right, so moving on to the NFC and jumping right over there, you got obviously the Cowboys. The Cowboys are looking like, looking pretty good. You got CD Lamb still there, George Pickens. So you got two wide receivers that are above 90 overall, both superstars. You really don't need a quarterback, but you got Joe Milton who took over the starting role on that side of things. You got Dak Prescott still there as a backup, but Joe Milton is the number one. You got Jaden Blue, who's developed real nicely as a number one running back, 93 speed, 96 excel. He does need some running backs behind him, but he's got a really good team. Drama, you know this team very well, which we'll get to you. The offensive line is solid. He did bring in Keegan Frost to play that right tackle, so he added there. You got Derek Moore at the edge. He's got Donovan Izaraku at the right edge. He's got Quentin Williams in the middle. Shamir James, the linebackers need some help. You got Deron Bland at the corner. And he brought in Shaven Revel Jr. Oh no, he didn't bring him in. He was already on the team.
Yeah, Revel was already there.
Yeah, I was thinking about the linebacker for some reason. The linebacker that came out in the draft class. But a really good team with the Cowboys. He did win the division last year. Obviously that's something you expect as a Cowboys fan. So he did his thing. The Commanders are also there. We got a new user for them. You got Tunsil still. You got Mark Andrews, who he added. He added Dallas Goedert as well. He still got Terry McLaurin, who's really good. Jaden Daniels is still really solid at 87 overall with his abilities. You also got Marshawn Lattimore at the corner. That defense did take a step back. A huge, massive step back. He doesn't have anybody over 85 on the defensive side of things, so you definitely got to work on that defense a little bit. The Eagles are what the Eagles are. A bunch of guys over 90. You got 5 players over 90. You got all these really good pieces. He's still got the quarterback. Jalen Hurts did regress heavily from throwing so many picks. He's now at 83 overall in a star div, so he's not the quarterback that you used to. Jahad Campbell's developed nicely. He's brought in TJ Hawkinson to help out in that tight end role after losing Dallas Goedert, so he took a step back there, but he at least filled the position, and he's got some age and talent and some really good young talent. And moving on to the last team, you got the Giants. The Giants got Dexter Lawrence still. You got Andrew Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Brian Burns. So you got a really good team. A lot of development there. Abdul Carter's developed nicely. You still got Cam Scabito, and you got Jackson Dart, who's going to develop even more coming into season 2. But the time might be now for the Giants to take the next step, and they did perform well after they made a coaching change last season. So what's your comments there?
I would say is Puffy still the Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay. Eagles definitely downgraded. Obviously, Jalen Hurts down what you said, 83 overall, and he doesn't have X Factor or Superstar anymore. I'm assuming either.
Nope, he's a star dev.
Yeah, so that's a big hit right there. Because I'm a Jalen Hurts hater. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I think it's more the weapons around him. But Cowboys, talked to him a lot this offseason. He's just trying to fix the cap that Dak Prescott ruined, and especially that he's not playing him. But I'm very interested to see the Commanders user. He's new too, right?
Yes, the Commanders user is new.
I'm excited to see that offense with the two crown jewels of the free agency. But I would say my pick for right now would still be Dallas to win this division. It's hard for me to pick Puffy right now. Again, I would like to see the Commanders, but I don't know enough about him. And then, I was impressed with Debo and the Giants. I think some people are going to figure Debo out. And it's hard for me to go against the Cowboys. I just think overall wise and roster wise, they probably have the better scheme and roster.
Yeah, overall, and they did win the division last season. What's your comments on it, Drama?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think that the Giants are going to win the division. I just think with the offseason to plug some of the holes that they had on the roster, that defense is top tier. We all are aware of the weapons that they have on defense, and then to be able to bring in a couple pieces on the offense. I just think that the Giants have the best chance
Mm-hmm.
to win the division. The Eagles, I mean, 86 throw power with no abilities is so garbage. And then he went and drafted a quarterback who came out with 86 throw power as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the Eagles are going to be the worst team in the division. I'm familiar with the Commanders' user. He's a good user. He can play. So they're gonna be a problem. Competitively, but I don't know, man. I got Giants winning division. I got Cowboys in second, Commanders in third. But I think that there's an opportunity for all three of those teams to make the playoffs. And then I've got the Eagles being a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because we got a question mark with the Commanders. Puffy is a question mark. He actually played really well early on, fell off towards the end. And then the Giants played really, really well towards the end after the coaching change. I think he won like 6 in a row, and then it kind of fell off there. Moving on, the NFC North. Taking a look at the NFC North, you got the Packers who made it to the Super Bowl. But talking about the Bears first, you got Joe Tooney, you got Jalen Johnson. You got a lot of development that needs to happen here. You got DJ Moore still. Roma Dunze's only at 85. Caleb Williams is at 84, so he's got some development to happen there with Luther Burden as well being at 83. So a young team with development that needs to be a key factor going into the season. And you got a good user in JC there. So moving on from the Bears, you also have the Packers. The Packers, Michael Parsons, Xavier McKinney, coming from a Super Bowl. You got a lot of guys in their prime years. Jordan Love's the X Factor, Josh Jacobs, superstar Xavier McKinney, X Factor, Michael Parsons. He's got a really good team, probably one of the better teams in division, and showed with them making their run into the playoffs. You also have the Vikings. The Vikings have Justin Jefferson still. They have they have Gary, who took over late. This will be his first full season. We'll see how he does there, but it's got some question marks. Who's going to be the quarterback? JJ McCarthy right now is the quarterback, but maybe they make some changes there. And then you also have the Lions in Malley, who had a really good season 1. He's got the team to do it. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs. He's got Sewell. He's got 6 players over 90, 2 of them 99. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a 97. You got Sam Laporta, who's at 88. Jack Campbell's at 87, and then you also have J-Mo, who's at 85, and he's one of the bigger pieces on this team. That DB room needs some improvement. Doesn't have a lot of good DBs back there. You got DJ. When I say DB, I mean cornerbacks. He's got 2 really good DBs with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, but he's got a really good team, a really, really good team. As we know, probably the best team in the division. So what's your comments on that, Mark?
Like you just talked about Maui. When you look at his team, he definitely, I would say, easily has the best team in the division. He kind of fell off at the end of last year. I think didn't he lost 7 or 6 games in a row to finish out the year or something crazy like that. So he was in the mix with DK there for a while, but then at the end he just fell flat on his face. And I believe he beat DK earlier in the year too.
Mm-hmm.
So. JC too. I'm a big fan of people again. Their favorite teams. JC joined late last season, so this division, I would make the argument this division is probably one of the harder divisions in the league also now. In DK, DK didn't do too much. DK just tried to do what he could. He had to talk to him. He had to let some guys go due to cap situations. And then the Vikings, again, Vikings new user, big question mark, but still a good roster. But Maui's got to win the division. He's got to. But a team like that, and like he has to. Like I like to pick DK, but Maui has to win this division. But I can't count out JC either. I played JC in our preseason game. And one thing I will say is JC has got some run game stuff going for him.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be surprised if that I don't know if he drafted him or he was a undrafted free agent. Roman Hempy. Don't be surprised if he's up there in the Rookie of the Year candidates.
He got him in the seventh round. Honestly,
Actually, he's Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick in the draft.
Yep, last pick in the draft.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he's up there for Rookie of the Year and maybe possibly getting some MVP votes because the cuts he was making without having to do any jukes. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, that was he was making me mad, and it was only a preseason game, and I was getting mad.
Yeah, he's got 89 agility, 91 change of direction. Drama, what's your comment on this division?
I mean, it's a solid division. You got some some top-notch users, and you got some teams that are coming back highly improved. Of course, we all know that the Packers made it to the Super Bowl and fell short. But they come back with a team that's largely intact. They lost a couple guys in the receiver position, but they still got Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, and that other guy, Jaden Reed at the wide receiver position. I think they might have the fastest receiver room in the league. They still have Josh Jacobs. They brought in Isaiah Pacheco. So I mean, it's a solid roster. The Bears is always a tough out. I'm not sure. Did Mally just come in, or was Mally always here with the Lions?
He's always here with the Lions. He started
always here with the Lions. Yeah. Okay, all right. So
he started off like 9-1 too from season 1.
Yeah. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs built all the way up. He's still got Jared Goff hanging in there. At quarterback, went and drafted Diego Pavia, which was a surprise for a lot of people. Did Pavia go in the first round?
No, he didn't. I forgot when he went.
It had to be second round then. I know it was surprising how early he went, but he bought in Diego Pavia to be the future. You know what I'm saying? And his Lions team is definitely built to compete. I'm not too familiar with the Vikings, but I believe I played against him, and he's a solid user. But he went and drafted Jeremiah Love with the third pick in the draft.
I apologize, Drama. You are right. He was drafted in the first round.
Diego Pavia was like the third quarterback off the board or fourth quarterback off the board or something.
23 overall.
Yeah. So, the Vikings had a good offseason. They brought in a couple players at positions where they got a little old. Because I know he had let go Hawkinson in free agency. He went and drafted Justin Jolly out of NC State at tight end. He let Aaron Jones Sr. go, so he went and drafted Jeremiah Love, who comes in. Looks like he's going to be the starter. His defensive ends regressed. Still got Jonathan Allen hanging in there at the tackle position. Linebackers, he went for speed. So yeah, I mean, secondary is looking kind of super suspect though. Secondary is actually horrible. So yeah, I think we're gonna have. I don't know if I can give the edge to the Bears, man. DK is always a tough out. So I'm gonna go Packers, Vikings, Lions, and Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings to round out the NFC North.
Yeah, that's a good bet. That's a safe bet right there. It's gonna be interesting to watch how this division plays out, and it could be week 1. We'll tell you how it plays out with the Packers and the Bears facing each other. Moving on to the NFC South, we're gonna jump into their division real quick. So taking a look, you do have the Falcons, who have a new user. This NFC South is completely revamped. The Atlanta Falcons, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Jesse Bates, you still got Chris Lindstrom, Drake London, AJ Terrell. So you got good pieces in positions of need. Walker, the biggest question mark is the quarterback. You got Michael Penix. He also brought in Joe Fagnano, who's got 87 throw power, who's 65. I don't think he's the answer, but you got a really good team here. You still got Kyle Pitts, who could use some development, but he's a great tight end. He brought in Lewis Bond as well through the draft, so he's got some good pieces. and he's a new user, so we'll see how he does. You also have the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have a new user. You got Tristan Wirfs, Vita Vea. You got Antoine Winfield Jr., Bucky Irving's really good. So you got some good pieces, but a completely new user in Brett Truss. We'll see how he does with this team. Moving on, you also got the Panthers and the division winner, Kurt, who has Derek Brown. Nick Scorton has developed into a monster 90 overall superstar. You got Ted McMillan, who's an 88. You got JC Horn. You got a lot of young pieces because this was a young team. Bryce Young is the starting quarterback at 82 overall with that 87 throw power. We'll see, how well he does as a starter. He did bring in Trinidad Chambliss behind him with 88 throw power and 86 speed. So he kind of brought in the same exact QB to plug and play if he need be. So that's a good little piece. And then you got a very heavy hitter in DBJ, who came over and took the worst team in the division, probably the worst team in the league, with the Saints. And he's got Eric McCoy and Chris Olave as his best two players, but after that is a huge drop off. He's got Tyler Shuck, he's got Spencer Rattler. He's probably going to go with Tyler Shuck, and make him work. He brought in Dylan Edwards as a number one back with 94 speed and 96 acceleration. You got Velus Jones Jr. Taking a look at the wide receiver position, you got a lot of the same. He did bring in a speedster in Brennan Thompson with 94 speed, 95 excel. So you see what he was trying to, accomplish through free agency and through the draft. Get faster, get more, Madden type of players in this team. But he is the biggest question mark. He also got Peter Woods early on, who's a fantastic piece in the middle, 80 overall rookie. So he brought in some really good pieces, and watching him take this team, and him knowing what we know of him being a top tier user, what can he do with the Saints team? Can he take the Saints team all the way to the playoffs? Can he take it to the win this division? Can he take it to the Super Bowl? That's the biggest question mark. How do you feel about it, Mark?
Yeah, so I personally don't know too much about the Saints user, but all I've heard is good things about him. He'll definitely compete. I think the team may be just a little too young to maybe be like a Super Bowl contender, but I believe next year might be like the start of that for him. Again, I think other than Kurt, the whole division is new from what I just gathered. So, other divisions did what they could, with the draft and the free agency. Kurt, he didn't do too much either, but Nick Scorton, like we said, turned into a dog. Derek Brown, I think now is a 99 overall. Even if that's just with morale, still is a 99 overall. Kurt is still my favorite to win the division. It's hard for me not to pick against him, especially now that he's got with the threat of being canceled, he's got the Twin Towers down there in Carolina between Pittman and Ted McMillan. And we know him. If you leave him one-on-one with the outside receiver, he's going to throw it up, give this guy a chance. And that's going to be hard to guard because not everybody has cornerbacks that are, 6'3" or 6'2" even. There might be one on your roster. You usually don't have two or three.
Absolutely, yeah. So it'll be tough to guard. What's your comment on this division drama? Do you have any history with some of these UGL guys that we brought in?
Yeah, I think that the Saints are going to win the division. Just looking at how he built his team, this is one of those guys that I feel like he plays to the strengths of his roster. And this roster, when he came in, was really weak. But if you look at what he did during the offseason, he built them to be stronger. I know you may look and say, well, skill positions aren't too exciting and doesn't really have anybody that jumps off the page. But Tyler Shuck with 92 throw power, with Kendre Miller and Dylan Edwards out of Kansas State at running back, and then he got Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed was a free agency pickup. You know what I'm saying? So he brings in Rashid Shaheed. He's got Jawan Johnson at tight end. That offensive line is solid. It's going to buy him some time in the pocket. And then what he did defensively, he shored up the front end of this defense and the backside. Just looking at how he built the team, this is someone that I feel like knows ball, knows how to put his team in position to be bend but don't break. Even though nothing jumps off the page at you, it's all solid. There's no really weaknesses. I don't have a lot of faith in Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
to be able to continue to compete with other competitors. And so seeing that we brought in some new blood, brought in some guys that are going to play their games, brought in some guys who are going to compete.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that once these guys get behind a few games, they're going to give up the ghost, and I see Saints taking it away. So I got Saints. I like the Falcons guy. I like
Mm-hmm. Excel.
yeah, I like Excel. I don't know about the KD Trey 5 guy, but anybody who's, a KD Trey 5 fan, I think he's gonna, compete as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good competitive division, but I got the Saints winning it. Looking at
Mm-hmm.
the rosters, I would say I would have the Falcons. Actually, no, I'm gonna say Bucks second, then the Panthers, and then the Falcons bringing up the rear.
Yeah, so really good division to pay attention to coming into this season. Now everybody's favorite division and arguably the toughest division in the whole league. You got the NFC West. Now the NFC West, you got the division winner in Seattle Seahawks and Beast. But then you got the Cardinals and Methodical, who made the playoffs with this Cardinals team. Obviously traded Kyler Murray. He's got Trey McBride there. He's got Buda Baker. He's got Walter Nolan. Really good pieces. Marvin Harrison Jr. has developed nicely. He's got Trey Benson, who's developed into a number one back. He drafted Darian Mensah. 82 speed, 86 excel, 89 throw power, very good accuracies, all above 80. Really good throw under pressure as well. So he drafted Darian Mensah out of Duke to take over for Kyler Murray. He realized Kyler Murray wouldn't be the future, so he went with Mensah. He's also brought in Romeo Doubs to pair with Marvin Harrison. He didn't really have that number two. He drafted Cooper as well and Sturdivant, I mean, to go with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. The offensive line is okay, actually really solid. He drafted Spencer Fano. He brought in Jaden Roberts, who's a really good right guard as well. So he made some good draft picks there. And then, his offensive line is young and developing. Defensive line needs some help. Walter Nolan is the one really good piece. And then you also have Josh Sweat, who's a superstar, but, is on the aging side of things. So he's got a really good team. So that's one with the Arizona Cardinals. And then you go to the next team to go to is the
49ers.
Yeah. I just skipped over the 49ers too. 49ers. So your team, you got Fred Warner. You got George Kittle. You talked a lot about it. Christian McCaffrey is going to be gone for the season, so that's huge. Go ahead and talk about your team.
I mean, like I said, we still have Purdy at quarterback with that 85 throw power. I don't know. I felt like he was a superstar. Maybe he regressed because of how badly I played with him last season, or maybe he just always was a superstar, which I don't really get because I think that he is a superstar on the base roster. But 46 touchdowns last season, 31 interceptions. I don't know if the 30 was the threshold to get him that superstar no more.
So in this league we have a tier list, and I could break it down for you real quick. So if you throw between 16 and 20 interceptions and you're an X factor, you go down to superstar. If you're a superstar, you don't move. If you're a star, you don't move. If you throw 21 to 25 interceptions, you go from down to star. No matter who you are, like X factor, superstar goes down to star. If you're a star, you don't move. If you throw over 26, you go down to normal. I think I actually made a change to this where it's 16 to 20 goes down to superstar, 21 to 30 goes down to star, and then 31 plus goes down to normal. I think that's the slight change I made to that, but it's a tier list basically. It's not just drops all the way to normal, it drops all the way to star. It's a tier list.
Yeah, I wish I had known that. So he's regular now. He's no longer nothing. He threw 31 interceptions, so he's at normal. So yeah, that's just not gonna get it done. So we went out and made a trade with the Jets and bought in Justin Fields. So we have some versatility, quarterback position. Again, Christian McCaffrey's out for the season. We had the pick before the last pick in the draft. We bought in Jonah Coleman, who's a running back out of Washington. He's only 87 speed. But if you look at everything else, he's pretty solid. 88 carry. He's got 89 break tackle, 87 trucking, 89 stiff arm. And if anybody knows how I play, then you know what that means. The wide receiver room is fairly decent, but we're not going to be a team that looks to air it out, down big throws downfield because of the limitations we have at quarterback. I'm pretty proud of what I was able to do bolstering the defense. Like I said, I brought in We brought in Jair Alexander to play corner slash safety. We've got Fred Warner, we've got D Winters and Nick Martin at the linebacker positions. We're fairly confident with Alfred Collins there in the middle. We rebuilt the offensive line from scratch. Our second pick in the draft, I believe we brought in Trey Zoom the third, who's a left tackle out of Texas A&M. We went and got Kenyon Sadiq. So I'm pretty satisfied with what we
Mhm.
were able to do. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the last pick we had, my running back was a fourth round pick. The last pick we had was Dylan Bell, who's a 6'1", 210 wide receiver out of Georgia. He's only 87 speed, but he's another big body to have there on the outside, whether he's catching the ball, blocking, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to try to use every piece that we have on this team. We went and brought Debo Samuel back into the fold. So Debo Samuel's going to factor heavily in the run game. Seeing that we're missing Christian McCaffrey, so we're fairly excited about that. So yeah, I mean, I would say out of the division, I have the worst roster.
Mhm.
But to my credit, I play to the strengths of my team as
Mhm.
opposed to trying to take a team and making them play the way that I want to play it. So I've done my due diligence in trying to find a scheme and a playbook that works. I've done that, so I feel like our struggles on offense are going to be mitigated. And then I'm pretty sure that the way I'm going to play my defense this year, we're going to cause some troubles for the rest of the guys in the division, because I know how they like to play. I know how they like to take advantage of cover three and zones. And so I think I'm going to be able to do some things to mix it up and kind of confuse them a little bit that should
Mhm.
cause some problems for
Absolutely, and sometimes it's scheme
them.
over
Scheme over
team.
team. Yeah.
Absolutely. So moving on, the 49ers, you also have the Rams. The Rams, we brought in SP Dot. SP Dot's taking the Rams. He's got Puka Nakua. He did go out and get his quarterback in Dante Moore on 1 overall, 85 speed, 92 throw power, 89 change of direction. Just a fun little quarterback to use. He went out and he also got Jaheim White out of the draft, another small running back with good speed. You got Puka Nakua. You also brought in Rondale Moore. Carnell Tate was the other top pick of his, a 93 speed, 6'3" wide receiver. So he made do with the picks he had, kind of pieced some things together in free agency. He still got that really good defensive line, young defensive line still developing. He brought in a few other pieces through the draft at the linebacker position. But this team does have its holes. It's not, it didn't turn around and become the best team in the division. You got D'Angelo Ponce, who he brought in with 95 speed, but he's 5'9". So, taking a look at this team, it's solid. But it's still got a lot to develop. A little bit better than the Saints situation, but kind of the same situation for SP Dot, who is another Super Bowl favorite. And then the last team, the Seattle Seahawks, who won a division. You still got the same team besides Jalen Milroe. You got Jackson Smith and Najigba. You got Devin Witherspoon, Kenneth Walker. He did go out and get Drew Allar. Will he start him, or will he try to, let him develop in behind the scenes? He brought in Nick Singleton and Wisner out of Texas, so he brought in two really good backs to kind of add to that room. He's got Torrey Horton, who's been a key component of that team. Brought in DJ Chark. He's made some good moves with this team overall to improve it, but his division changed a little bit with the addition of SP Dot and a more locked in 49ers team and Cardinals team, who made a lot of key improvements to his team. So talk about this a little bit, Mark. How do you feel this division will map out?
Well, I will say I'm very happy with the moves the Cardinals have made. Methodical said he had a plan coming into the offseason, and I believe he executed it very good. Beast trading Milroe was a very big surprise to me in the offseason. I heard why he did it. And I'm still surprised he did it, but I guess he's a big fan of Drew Allar. And then SP Dot adding him to there. One thing about SP Dot is it seems like his teams always has a good defensive line and good receivers, which he has now. He only has the rookie quarterback though, doesn't have, so he'll probably miss some throws here or there. And then you got Drama, which I'm a big fan of Drama and his team building. It does suck that Christian McCaffrey is going to miss this season too, because that could be the difference in some games. But the way I have this division mapping out, I do think SP Dot wins this division.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very close division. I think this division could mirror what the AFC South did last year, where we're going to talk about they might be sending the whole division to the playoffs. But if I had to pick right now, I would go SP Dot first, Cardinals second, Seahawks third, and that's go drama fourth. But I don't think either team will have a losing record at the end of the year.
He's trying to fluff it. He's fluffing it big time for you, drama. He's
it's hard.
He's fluffing it because look that man in the eye.
He could have said drama get his ass blown out. I wouldn't have cared, bro. It's all good. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so go ahead, drama. Give me your pointers on its division as a whole.
So I kind of know how these guys play, and I know what they like to do and what they don't like to do. SP Dot is a bend but don't break type of defensive guy. He's not going to do a lot of blitzes. He's going to sit in his coverages, cover 3, cover 4 primarily. So he's going to, you're going to have to take what the defense gives you. Offensively, this is going to be a run on first and second down, and then on third down, he's going to have some type of money play for 4 or 5 yards to get Puka Nacua open or to get Rondale Moore or Carnell Tate, free underneath. If you see Devontae Adams on the field, he's running a comeback route. And so you just got to be able to defend against the plays that he likes to run in those situations. But that can throw you off because then you might get out of your strategy of running the plays you like to run in certain down and distance situations. And so it's going to come to a cat and mouse game of who can win third downs and stay on the field or, get the defense off the field. It's going to be hard to run against the Rams team. You can throw against them, but do it at your own peril because he runs that cover. He runs that zone coverage, and then he can do this user stick on the back end and switch where his guy is at. You know what I'm saying? The Seahawks are going to be a run on first and second down team and do a short throw on third down. He's brought in some guys to bolster his linebacking core, which is going to be really problematic. You know what I'm saying? For anybody trying to throw against him, it's going to be hard to run because you see who he's got in that front 5. But you may see a lot of 5-2 fronts from the Seahawks, getting all those defensive linemen on the field and then just daring you to throw it because he's got Tariq Woolen, he's got Devon Witherspoon, and then he's got Julian Love and Eamon Warrior in the back and in the secondary. So it's going to be hard, man, to move the ball on offense. Like I said, the Seahawks are going to be run on first and second down, maybe even running on third down, depending on the down and distance. But when he throws, it's going to be play action or it's going to be something quick, to on the outside to Jackson Smith or Torrey Horton. So, and that's rough. Elijah Arroyo is really the X factor on that offense because he can get open on any play against any defender. I remember the one game we played, he's running trips, and I've got my cornerback on tight end, pressed up on him, and he beats him on an out route. And it's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck I can do against that. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Cardinals, who's also built in a similar way, big runs on first and second down. Third down, he's going to find something to Marvin Harrison, you know what I'm saying? And adding Romeo Dobbs gives him the good, this fast guy underneath running those drags or, running the corner route on third down. So it's going to be difficult. And then with Trey McBride, it's just going to be rough, bro. But realistically, I have the Seahawks winning the division. I have SP Dot coming in second. I've got myself in third. I've got the Cardinals and finishing fourth, and I believe we all will be above 500.
Yeah, it's
whether
going to be.
Or not we make the playoffs, I don't know, but I don't see myself being under 500 with this roster and the way that I'm about to be playing. So of course, that's confidence speaking, but I don't see that I'm not going to get to 500.
So taking a look, I think you play the NFC East. Yep, you play the NFC East, and on the AFC side, I see the Dolphins here, but I don't think you play the AFC East. No, it looks like you play the AFC West.
It's the West, yes, AFC West.
So you play the NFC East and AFC West, so we'll see how those matchups go on. It's going to be very interesting to watch this division. Like I said, probably that whole NFC just became a gauntlet of a conference. I need actually before we close it out, what do we got for the Super Bowl? Mark, go.
Super Bowl off the bat. Titans and Packers.
All right. How about
Um,
you?
Super Bowl, I'm going to say Ravens and Rams.
Ravens and Rams. All right. You got the Ravens. We putting some stock into Miles. I like it. But everybody, thank you for watching. My screen glitched out and we didn't move, but at least you heard us talking about it. Thank you, Drama. Thank you, Mark, for coming on. I hope we have a great season. We just advanced to week 1. Let's get these games in. Let's get it rolling and let's pump out that content. Can't wait to see all this content. Everybody.